is Jamie from Creations Misfit, back with another video tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to do a double crochet. If you are just starting out and you'd like to learn the slip knot and the chain, which is step 1 of crochet, I do have a video for that. And then the next two stitches, or the first two stitches that I suggest you learn are the single crochet and the half double, and they each kind of build on themselves. So if you're starting out with a double crochet, I would suggest trying the single and the half double first after you learn your slip knot and your chain. But if you've done all of that and you're here for the double crochet, then welcome. And if you haven't done those, I will put my links for those videos in the description box below, and you can start there. Or if you need a refresher or anything like that, I'll put those down in the bottom. Now for the half double, or I'm sorry, for the double crochet, it's just a little bit different than the half double. It's just an extra step and it's really simple to do. I started out with making 2 rows already for teaching purposes because it's a little bit easier to show you how to go into the stitches than it is to go into the chain. And by this point you should already know how to go into the chain. Don't get discouraged if your chain is a little bit messy when you first start, because it is more difficult even for people that know how to crochet. It's always just annoying to go into the chain at first, but you get used to it and it becomes pretty simple. But once you have a little bit of your portion of your project done, it just gets easier and easier to go into your stitches. So I've done 2 rows of double crochet here. I have 12 stitches, and I can't tell you how important it is to count your stitches. When I first started, I never counted stitches. I just kept crocheting whatever I knew, and my projects never were straight on the ends. They were triangle, they were oblong. I mean, I would have like a row out here and then a row in, and then it was just a mess. So always know how to count your stitches so that your project is perfectly straight. And so I have 12 stitches. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You don't count this end thing, you just count the V's on the top. Okay, so let's get started. Now on the double crochet, if you've watched my other videos or anybody else's, they should have told you that on single crochet, when you get to the end of the row, you have to chain 1 to bring your project up to the next row. The chain doesn't count as a stitch unless the pattern tells you to, but most of the time it doesn't count as a stitch. So for the single crochet, you chain 1 at the end of each row before turning your project. And for the half double, you can chain 1 or 2. I do 2. Now for the double crochet, I chain 3 on the end. Some people chain 2, and that's fine too. It's enough height to bring it up, but I think 3 is better for me. So I'm at the end of a row, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to turn our work and start crocheting our double crochet. Now, why it's important also to know your number of stitches is because sometimes when you first start a row, especially after you do chains, it can look a little confusing, like where is my first stitch that I'm supposed to go into? Now, this doesn't count as a stitch, but you can see if you turn your project, there's the first stitch right there, okay? And you can count if you're not sure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's the last V, even though this looks like something. It's not, it's just your chains from the prior round. So that's the last V. So yes, I'm correct. This is the first stitch that we're going to go into, and you can see it right here. I hope this yarn isn't too dark. I was trying to do different colors in each video. Alright, so for the half double, if you remember, you yarn over and go into your first stitch. We're going to do the same thing for the double. You're going to yarn over and go into that first stitch right here underneath both loops. Okay, so yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop just like you would with the half double crochet. Now for the half double, you would yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches. Here's where the double is different. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through just the first 2 loops on your hook. Okay, and now you have 2 loops left on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and pull through those last 2. And that's it. That's your double crochet. So it's just one step different than the half double. So let's do it again. You're going to yarn over and you're going into the next stitch, which is right here. You can see at the top there's the two V's, or the two pieces that make up a V. So you've yarned over, you go into the stitch, yarn over again, and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, just like you would for the half double crochet. Now instead of yarning over and pulling through all 3, we're going to yarn over and pull through just 2, which leaves you with 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through those last 2. And there's your there's your double crochet. All right, so let's just keep going and do a few more together. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops left on your hook, yarn over, pull through those last 2. Yarn over, go into this next stitch right here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops, yarn over, go into this next stitch. I kind of hold my thumb here. It just feels easier for me. Like, I'll show you an example. If you yarn over like this, if you have really good control, then it's no problem. You don't probably have to feel like you need to do that. But when you're first starting out, for me, it was easier. I just picked it up on my own, and I've never really gotten rid of it, which is fine. It makes me crochet better and faster. But when you yarn over and you're going into the stitch, sometimes it feels a little insecure. So I always end up holding this with my thumb, and then it feels like I'm in more control. Either way, it doesn't matter. But if you see me doing that, that's why. All right, so we're going to go into our stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, and you just keep working across, yarn over, go into your stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. And now it does seem like when you first start double crochet, sometimes when you first try to get through those first 2 loops, it can feel a little weird, like they're not wanting you to get into both of them, or you could get stuck on one, or you could end up going through all 3. It's fine. It will get easier and easier as you do it, and it will just become second nature. So don't get discouraged if it's a little bit difficult at first. It will just get easier and easier. So why don't you go ahead across however many stitches you've done, and just follow along, or I'm going to go a little bit quickly here just to get to the end of the row, but go at your own pace. It's a little awkward because I have the camera set up in front of me in between my legs, and I'm kind of eyeballing this with one eye. Whoops. And at the end, make sure, sometimes at the end it can be a little confusing as to where your last stitch is. So here you'll see there's one V left. And for teaching purposes, I'm using a larger yarn and a larger hook. A lot of times it will be more difficult to see because you're using a smaller hook and a thinner yarn, so your stitches will be really tiny. But hopefully you can see this all right. So there's one left. Go in, and if you're ever confused, now see, it looks like it's uneven, like, oh, maybe I need to go into this side here or something, and I used to do that, and it made my projects really crazy looking. You don't need to go into the side because we're going to chain up 3, and when we turn it, it will be straight on the end. But here, it looks like maybe you need to go into another stitch, so if you're unsure, what you would do. These are just the chains. That's why it looks like that, because we haven't done our chain 3 yet. But if you're unsure, you can go back and count your stitches. And we started with 12, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That last V right there. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3, and then turn my work and keep going. And this does look a little wonky right now just because each row is a little bit different. But once you keep going with your project, it does even out. So don't worry about that. And if you'd like to do just two chains on the end, that's fine too. So that's the double crochet, and I hope that that's helpful for you. If you need to go a little bit slower, just rewind the video and watch it again, or you can slow it down and try again. But just keep practicing. It will get easier and easier for you. And if you need the other stitches, I'll put those in the description box below. If I've helped you, please give this video a like. I'm just starting out, so I'm hoping to do a lot more stitches and actually some projects, some tutorials for different items and things like that. And I would love to do more, but I definitely need viewers that are interested. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. And if you'd like to give me a like or a subscribe, that would be really great and helpful. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Have a great day.